AI test cases need clear intents and oracles, otherwise you are collecting anecdotes, not tests. This AiQualtest episode gives product, engineering, risk, and quality teams a practical, vendor-neutral playbook for AI test case design in 2026. Use a simple operating loop: intent, oracle, risk, and automate. That loop keeps conversations concrete when stakeholders disagree about quality or risk. Why this matters: traditional test design still applies, but oracles are softer and outputs are stochastic. Strong AI test cases connect requirements, risks, and measurable checks. That discipline scales teams beyond ad hoc prompting. Enterprises shipping AI into banking, insurance, healthcare, and digital operations cannot rely on hallway demos. Buyers, auditors, and internal second-line risk partners ask for repeatable methods, version artifacts, and clear ownership. If you cannot explain how you tested and what evidence you keep, you do not have AI quality, you have optimism. Core concepts come next. Do not memorize jargon, operationalize each idea into cases, metrics, and gates. Concept 1: Intent statements. Write what the user is trying to achieve and what the system must do. Ambiguity kills repeatability. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 2: Oracle types. Use exact, fuzzy, rubric, schema, and human oracles deliberately. Match oracle strength to risk. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 3: Equivalence classes. Group similar intents to avoid redundant cases. Cover representatives and boundaries. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 4: Negative design. Include misuse, incomplete inputs, and policy refusals. Positive-only suites lie. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 5: Traceability. Link cases to requirements, risks, or user stories. Audits love traceability matrices. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 6: Automation readiness. Structure cases so harnesses can run them. Freeform notes do not scale. In practice, treat this as a measurable property: define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Here is a real-world pattern. Setting: Wealth management firm testing an advisor assist research summarizer. Early tests were chat transcripts without oracles. QA rebuilt cases with intents, citation requirements, and refusal rules for unsuitable advice. Automation then scored schema and citation presence every night. Audit requested the traceability matrix and found it already linked to model risk requirements. Notice the pattern: define scope, run controlled tests, capture evidence, decide with named owners, and feed failures back into the next cycle. That is how AI quality becomes a system property, not a slide. Common mistakes slow mature programs. Mistake 1: Writing cases as raw prompts with no expected behavior. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 2: Using only exact string match for creative tasks. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 3: Skipping negative and refusal cases. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 4: Leaving cases unlinked to requirements or risks. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. The antidote is discipline: small goal sets, explicit thresholds, change control, and monitoring that connects production incidents back to evaluation suites. Key takeaways for your team. Takeaway 1: Pair every case with intent and oracle type. Takeaway 2: Cover positive, negative, and boundary classes. Takeaway 3: Trace cases to requirements and risks. Takeaway 4: Structure for automation from day 1. Write these into your team wiki and release checklist so they survive staffing changes. Your next steps this week: convert 10 chat anecdotes into formal cases with intents and oracles. Then, create a simple template: intent, input, oracle, risk tag, owner. Keep the artifacts, prompts, datasets, scores, approvals so you can defend the decision later. Where this fits the AiQualtest method, learn the foundations with AiVELabs, practice with hands-on cases, and validate with governed evaluation evidence. Visit aiqualtest.com and learn.aiqualtest.com. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for weekly AI quality, evaluation, and governance episodes. Additional depth for practitioners: treat AI test case design as a controlled experiment. Version the inputs, freeze the environment where possible, record who approved exceptions, and rerun after every material change, model upgrade, prompt edit, retrieval index refresh, or tool permission change. Pair quality metrics with latency, cost, and safety signals so trade-offs are visible to product owners. When results regress, open an incident-style review even if the feature still looks fine in a demo. Governed teams prefer boring, evidence-backed releases over surprising wins that cannot be reproduced.